And we're back here on Court 4 at Sewanee Sports Academy for our 5th and final championship game webcast. I'm Marcus Burnett, joined by JL Hemingway, as this matchup will feature FBC Mo taking on All Ohio Express.
Marcus, when you talk about two of the hottest teams nationally, FBC, Mo, and All Ohio Express definitely have to be two of the bigger names that come into the conversation. Coach Alfred Motton has a group of 2017 prospects. They're highly talented, all here within the metro Atlanta area. Coach Kelly Peak and her Express group have a mix of 2016 and 2017 players. They're talented themselves. We'll get into the individual matchups as the game progresses.
Plenty of collective talent as well, but like you alluded to, the individual pieces involved in this matchup definitely worth tuning in here on Prospects Nation TV, powered by SUVtv.
One of those highly talented players here for Coach Motton at the free throw line is number 24 in gray. That's Tylia Gillespie. Norcross High School was a big part of and the Lady Blue Devils run to the state championship game this year. Gillespie, a high energy kid, a wing defender, can get it done on both ends of the floor.
Splits the pair of free throws there. Express has it. Jalen Bean with it. Here's Mason. Cookies taken by Gillespie as she shot out of nowhere to steal that one and get the layup drill on the other end.
And you can see the defensive prowess that we were just talking about, the speed, the athleticism, and the finish.
She makes it a 3-0 ball game. Express trying to get on the board here. Bean has it, trying to use the screen. FBC doing a great job defensively right now, as that one's going to be poked away. There by number 12. That's Butler.
Butler, another high energy defender for Coach Motton. Plays Southwest Atlanta Christian, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, yeah, that's correct.
And she's just one of those bulldog types. And she's going to get into you. She can defend multiple perimeter positions on the court. She'll play off the ball on offense, but she can guard your point guard. She can guard.
Could care less whether you're comfortable or not, and really, with the way she approaches it, you know, she goes out there to make sure her defenders are as uncomfortable as possible on both ends. Broadcasted the Peach State Classic there during the high school season, and she was injured. She was shaken up really with the way she was limping. You know, it was one of those to where a should she be playing kind of limp, and she was just able to play through it throughout that entire game on both ends. So, I mean, just a very gritty, talented prospect here for FBC Mo. One thing about Express, though, you know, they've done a pretty good job of keeping their composure here early on against this FBC pressure. Obviously, they still have a goose egg on the scoreboard, but they're not letting this frantic defense change their pace.
No question, they've got a number of talented kids, some playmakers out there. Right now, FBC doing a lot in transition. So they're going to do a little bit too much right there. Taji Cummings going to get called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, it was making a move, but the official was able to see that arm extended. So an easy call for him to make there. But if I'm coaching, I'm still liking how aggressive Cummings is going to the rack and using that strength there. Small guard height-wise, but not small in terms of the way she plays in the build. Kush Kitawa blocks that one. Tough floater. It's off the mark. Cummings with the rebound. She'll get it ahead to Gillespie. Stop, pop, off the window, won't go. Mason will put it out of there. Just over 13 minutes left to play here in this one, as Gillespie will be called for a foul, but FBC not giving them any room or time to think or do anything here on the defensive end.
Now, the key for All Ohio is going to be, can they weather this storm of defensive energy? Because FBC is going to come at you. As you see, Jalen Mason going to break free for that easy layup, a blown defensive assignment. They're going to get into you. They're going to put a lot of pressure early, but if you can weather the storm and run your offense, eventually that defensive pressure is naturally going to take a step back. So that's going to be the key for Coach Kelly Peak.
Yeah, and Express, as we see Coach Kittiwah use that height and length on the inside. The Express body language and just their MO up to this point has been that same, kind of principle or perspective that you just mentioned. Hey, these guys are playing good defense right now. We just got to continue to move the ball and not compound things by turning it over like they did there on that last play. They steal it right back. They try to work it inside now. Nowhere to go with it. And it's going to be taken away. Butler to Coach Kittiwah for the left-hand finish.
Transition game has been huge, and you see Coach Kittiwah get there with the left-handed.
Makes it a 7-2 game. (11 minutes, 31 seconds left to play here in the first half.
I'm going to go ahead and fill out the rest of the lineup here for FBC. They've got a number of prospects that play for St. Francis High School, including the aforementioned Coach Kittiwah, and she's joined in the backcourt by Cummings and Tampa, that both play at St. Francis, who won a state championship this year in their classification in the GHSA.
St. Francis is one on the girls' side, one on the boys' side as well. So nice trip to Macon there during the state finals for the private school there in Alpharetta. 7-2 ball game. Looking at it from a glass half full perspective, your Express haven't been able to get much going on the offensive end. If anything, you're only down by 5. Plenty of time left here in the first half. Cummings gets the step and the deuce.
Way to stick with it there. If your FBC moves the paint, Cummings takes advantage of the open lane in the finish.
9-2 ball game. That mid-range jumper is off the mark. The FBC has it. Tampa ahead to Butler. Butler. There's nice defense played there by Mason. But Butler's able to just drop it off to the 6'4" Coach Kittiwah.
Really impressed with how well Coach Kittiwah is running the floor right now. That's the third trip that she's ran, and she's made left-handed layups, on 2 of the 3 trips, and now gets fouled on this. And there's a reason why Coach Kittiwah, number 11 in gray, is the top post player in the country currently, as ranked by ProspectsNation.com. 6'4", the ability to run, block shots on the defensive end, and to finish around the rim. Very talented kid, already getting calls from all over the nation when it comes to college coaches. A lot of upsides for this young lady.
And Hemi, worst case scenario, what do you think is the minimum? If you've got a player her size and playing her position that sprints the floor consistently throughout the game, what do you see as the minimum number of points they should get just off of that work alone?
You always, when I coach, you tell your post players, if you just sprint the floor, you get a bucket every quarter. So
yeah,
that's 8 points right there. And then not to mention if you make a post move, once a quarter, it gets you to double digits already. But that's something that gets overlooked, I think, many times by these post players, because I think, the guards aren't passing me the ball. But if you run guards will find you.
And that's a prime example, Hemi. That a lot of times that rationale is why you'll often hear people say, hey, that big man's running the floor, you got to reward him or her to keep them going, because even though you should be consistent and do it each play, it factors in when you feel like you're running and that guard may or may not be getting it to you.
And it feeds off one another too, because guards like to pass it. Everybody likes to see the ball going through the bucket. You know, so it feeds off one another. If you run and you pass ahead and the post player is able to score, well, that's just going to bring more success in the future.
Yep. Good energy via the basketball. 10-2 game. Xpress trying to get it going on the offensive end, giving them a lot of room. Kush Kittiwah gets another block inside.
All Ohio's got a little bit of a dilemma here when it comes to this FBC defense. You've got the quick guards on the perimeter, Tampa, Cummings, Gillespie, Butler, and then you've got the length inside with Kush Kittiwah. So, you know, now naturally you would say, well, you beat fire with fire. You know, slash past the quick guards, but the problem is that on the interior you've got a 6'4" shot blocker.
That's waiting for you in there, and so far she's gotten the upper hand. And one. Went through the hole like a running back there, protected the ball and was able to finish through the contact. Nichelle Tampa.
Tampa, talented guard, as we mentioned before, goes to St. Francis High School, teammate of Kush Kittiwah and Cummings. Plays the shooting guard position, but really has point guard skills. Quick, fast, good on the defensive end. I've been watching this FBC Mo team now. It seems like forever. I remember watching these kids, I believe, when they were 7th graders, and was just really impressed. I remember the one thing I remember about Tampa was just her quick hands, you know, with the full court pressure. She could, you know, create steals, you know, and such. Got a good offensive skill set. It's fun to watch these kids grow up and continue to play and develop.
11-point advantage now, 13-2. That one's good to go. The bank shot has been a popular shot, especially in clutch situations over the past few days.
Derek Rose can co-sign on that, and Maria Campbell is going to break the ice right here for Ohio Xpress.
Yeah, Derek Rose with the huge bank shot. Paul Pierce broke all of our hearts in Atlanta as well with his bank shot also. So you got Brandon Clay joining us here on the mic for this FBC All-Ohio Xpress matchup.
It's good to be here, man. Championship Sunday, a great slate. As always, thankful to the SUVtv broadcast team, production team, and this young fella to my right, JLHemingwayPSB. Make sure you follow him on Twitter.
Thanks, Brandon.
He was so choked up with emotion he couldn't even speak, man. I'm grateful.
Yeah, man, that was a selfless Twitter plug right there, man. That's good stuff right there.
I'd much prefer if you visited CoachHemi.com. Coaches out there, I'd go ahead and check that out. And follow me on Twitter, you know, if it works out after that.
Sounds like a plan. We've seen a lot of CoachHemi.com being put into play in some of these late game situations, and what's just been a great weekend of basketball here at the May Day Challenge.
Well, it'll be interesting to see offensively if All Ohio can get going as we start to talk about CoachHemi.com, get going to the point where they're able to put this game in that 1-2 possession realm, you know, as we get into the second half, where we have to see some adjustments, whether it be from FBC Mo or whether it be from Kelly Peak over there, you know, with All Ohio.
Tough thing about it, as that gap grows, you have to work so hard to make sure they don't pull off and create too much distance. And while you're doing that, they're bringing in 1 or 2 fresh guards that have the legs like they haven't played a game this weekend.
Well, and Mason's got to be big. I mean, point blank, you know, with Sam Rogers out, Sam had a slight head injury yesterday. You know, number 21 for All Ohio would have been a big producer for them today. And the kid that we project, you know, being able to go to the next level and be impactful on the wing, Mason's got to step up with drives like she just made. Even if she doesn't make the initial shot, being able to draw the foul, put herself on the line and then knock down free throws, gives them an opportunity to compete.
And another bullet point, Cassie Kushkitawa is on the bench. Anytime that happens, you've got to kind of treat it like a power play situation in hockey. Just trying to go at it, get some shots on goal without her being out there on the court, man.
Yeah, without question, Marcus, and I would piggyback upon that. The defensive quickness by FBC has really made it hard for these guards, and when they do, are able to turn the corner, Kushkitawa has swatted a number of shots away.
Well, and there's a great example there, Marcus, of being willing to attack the lane with Cassie on the bench here, getting a blow. Now, all of a sudden, if you can beat her, you're at least not having to look at 6'4" waiting on you with arms up. You can at least try to, like you said, get a shot on goal and force the foul. They call that one on the floor.
That was Ariel Varner who got the step along the baseline and was fouled. And we touched on it early on, but you got to give Xpress credit because things have not gone their way. This FBC suffocating. But you'll see a lot of teams that will help by turning the ball over and letting it, get them too frantic too early. It's a big reason why they're within 7 points striking distance here.
Yeah, they play very solidly on the defensive end themselves. Not giving FBC just a ton of second chance opportunities.
Three from the corner, too strong. Chasing the rebound down and keeping it inbounds there was Mason. She gets it back.
Oh, nice post feed there on the interior.
Weight room move inside.
That's what you talk about when you talk about, and we say Cassie, but it could be anybody that brings that interior height and length. When you take them, now the lane kind of opens up for you a little bit.
5-point game. Just over 7 minutes left to play. And we'll have steps called there on that one. And Cassie Kushkitawa checks back into the game.
Yeah, what a big blow for All Ohio not having Sam Rogers at their disposal today. She had a really solid weekend, had sat on a couple of their games. And Rogers is one of those primary handlers that can also score the basketball with some length. Big blow for them, but we would be remiss not to mention some of the other kids missing for FBC Mo as well. Most notably, of course, Michaela Coombs, who's been out with a knee injury for some time.
Oh, nice shot there. When we talked about just getting a little rhythm going, as you see Bean knock down that jumper for All Ohio, and even inside this zone here, slowed FBC down. And, FBC did a great job early, I thought, of getting out in transition. Just being able to get a rhythm for themselves. All Ohio's been able to take that away.
13-10 ball game. Here's Bean coming the other way again. She'll be tripped up. Foul will be on the floor, so they'll have it along the baseline.
Yeah, great point, Brandon. And it seems now All Ohio Express has been able to change the momentum and really change the pace of play more than anything. And like we talked about in the first few minutes, Marcus, talk about weathering the storm of FBC's pressure. Eventually, that pressure is going to dissipate a little bit, and you've just got to stay within striking distance, and that's exactly what only down 3.
No question.
As it will remain Express's ball. They're along the baseline. Being inbounded. The floater, money.
Tough shot there from O'Neal out of Wyoming High School. You see her, once again, bringing that energy and that pace, a lot like an FBC guard in that way they like to play. Nice shot on the wing by Tampa.
Tampa playing the string music there on the wing, making it a 16-12 ball game in the process. FBC gets a steal. Here's Cummings. Ball knocked out of bounds.
It's really interesting to see just how the game opens up for FBC. Once they hit a shot, then they feel a little bit more comfortable. They can get a turnover, turn it into transition. A lot of their game is upon that tempo.
Yeah. O'Neal trying to change the tempo for Express. Has that knocked out of bounds. 5 minutes, 9 seconds to play here in the first half. Xpress's ball there along the baseline. It'll be number 12, Alyssa Clay, to inbound.
Looking for big things out of Clay as well as we talk about, ways for them to continue to manufacture points as Mason gets the inbounds here. Nice move, and it doesn't drop. I like that. Clay out of Indianapolis, Indiana, Pike High School, had the opportunity to play high school basketball alongside Brittany Ward, whose face hangs on one of the Elite Basketball Academy banners here. And like Ward, Clay has been to multiple camps and is a skilled guard, an option that we expect big things from here this summer.
She kicks it out for the free throw line jumper. That's off the mark. And FBC will push the other way. Moore kicks it to the corner. Tampa's got one three-pointer. Why not add another?
Tampa's been big here in the past few minutes, providing the scoring punch, showing her ability to hit the long-range jumper.
It's one of those things with a kid like Tampa. She was, we saw her so much so early. You forget how good she is sometimes. And between watching her with St. Francis this year and then seeing on the side, it's almost like she's like, yo, let me remind y'all, man, I'm nice. And you're seeing that skill set, quickness, all the things coming together in the Michelle Tampa.
Hesitates there.
We mentioned her earlier, Brandon. She's got point guard skills, but has to play on the wing, alongside of Cummings and some of these other point guards. And that's perfectly fine, in my opinion, because what that shows me, some next level analysis. If you recruit her to be your point guard, you know that you're going to get a point guard that can score the ball, that can finish in transition and knock down the long jumper.
Butler with the bucket from outside as well.
Butler always locked in, always focused, always looks like she's ready for that next play to go get a steal after she makes one.
And she makes it a double-digit advantage now. Nice defense being played by Tampa. Nowhere to go for O'Neal, and Tampa fouls her there at the last second.
Well, that's one of those things. You see how quickly the momentum changed. It was 15-12, and we talk about the rim protection from Kittlewall, but then also the made shots now. So you've got Tampa with a couple of open threes. You got Butler with an open three. So on one end, you're protecting the rim. On the other end, what the zone is designed to give a hit, now you're clicking on all cylinders. Game of runs.
Free throw knocked down by Ashley O'Neal. Any freebies they can get, they gotta have them. O'Neal makes good on both of those. So O'Neal will have a seat back into the game. Number 15, Braylon Bean.
There's so many good individual matchups inside of this game. You look at a Bean and a Cummings. There's just so many kids that I enjoy watching, and you get a chance now to watch them go against each other. And you see Gillespie here line this three up off the nice action. That's a shot that she's made this weekend, shown that she can hit a little bit. So if she continues to do that, in addition to her defensive prowess, as you see her attack up the floor there, where those kids play. She can do that now. It changes the complexion of her game. So I like that she's comfortable taking that shot in this game, even though it didn't go in.
Hit a big three, hit a huge three there in the championship game that we talked about earlier. Their state runner-up here in the state of Georgia this past year. Gillespie hit a big three to help send that game to overtime.
Oh, Mason calling for the basketball. I love that. Second shot she's taking like that that's hit the back of the rim and falling, but she was calling for the basketball on the reverse and attack and get to the spot. The shot just doesn't drop for her.
They're still within 8, 2 minutes, 41 seconds and counting. Gillespie with it up top, guarded by Varner. Trying to work it to Kittlewall. Nice defense on the inside by number 15, Rebecca Justice.
Justice for years used to play with another team, the NBA Wolves, with Jay Etter up there in Ohio, now playing with Kelly Peak. But Justice, with her size, her frame, she has the ability to be able to bang with Kittlewall and at least make life tough for her, if nothing else.
So to go back the other way, I believe it was an offensive foul.
They got her with a little clear out there. Mason trying to clear space. You could see Kelly Peak saying all you had to do was go left. They were giving you that and just being able to read that. So we talk about the coaching and the instruction these young ladies get, whether it's from Alfred Motton, Kelly peak. Always an opportunity to get better with each and every possession.
That three-pointer off the mark. Mason gets the rebound. Ahead to Bean. Bean is going to be tied up. Jump ball. We'll keep it with Xpress.
Good defense right there by Cummings, and I'm a big fan of Cummings. You see her being subbed out. Actually, excuse me, that's Brooke Moore going to the bench. Cummings still out there, number 0 in gray. Watch her set the table for FBC. Rarely looks for her own shot, but setting the table offensively and the presence that she brings on the defensive end, I think is very valuable.
Three-pointer from the corner. All three good to go there. That's number 12, Alyssa Clay.
It's just the right last name right there. No relation, but I'll claim her if she keeps making shots like that.
She makes it a 17-22 ball game. Cummings right at Justice. Justice saying you're going to have to go to the line and earn these two.
That's a nice take there from Cummings. Saw the ice cream, used it. Quick little left to right downhill to be able to attack. Try to make a play there. Now a chance to get two with the charity stripe.
That one off the back of the rim.
This is a big day for these prospects. Our International Director of Scouting building, Jonathan Hemingway here, Director of Domestic Scouting. So plenty of eyes here watching these young ladies and people earning spots, earning scholarships, talk to schools every day.
Gillespie, again, relentless there on the inside, offensive rebound and the deuce. Cummings saves it right to Gillespie. She's weaving through traffic, loses the handle, and Clay comes away with it. 7-point game as we approach the final minute here of the first half. O'Neal has it up top. Justice with the screen. O'Neal will try the two-pointer if it would have gone. No good, and another rebound for Gillespie, and Coley bring it up. About 43 seconds. O'Neal nearly comes away with a steal. Cummings the dish to Keshkitawa.
What a big-time sequence right there. Cummings wrestles the ball away, shot fakes, and then finds Keshkitawa for the assist.
Well, and like you alluded to, John, Cummings just does all the things that you want in a player. As you see, going up and not falling. And point, fellas, you look at the score, and I think the difference right now has been FBC's ability to make a couple of those shots. You know, 26-17 here. Those three-pointers, the couple by Tampa and the one by Butler being the difference. Look at her show out. Set the table, John. Set the table.
You know, there's, excuse me, guys, I just want to point this out. There's two types of passes that you can make, or two types of passers as a point guard. Setting the table, running the offense, and then creating the pass.
Well,
as you see,
Cummings, I should have let her serve it up with fork and a knife for Cassie. Look at that. Basket, taking it to the half.
Don't go anywhere here. As we're on court 4 at Sewanee Sports Academy. Marcus Burnett, JL Hemingway, and Brandon Clay will be back after this halftime break. Second half, ready to roll here. Marcus Burnett with JL Hemingway here on Championship. The Express running into the challenge of this FBC defensive attack, and so far, so good as they're still within striking distance. They're down 11. Hemi, I think you can have a good second half in store, as it seems like Express has kind of cracked the code just a little bit.
No question, good offensive set right here to get Butler the layup off the back screen. The difference has been, however, FBC's ability to hit the long-range shot. Michelle Tampa hit a couple of threes, really stretch it back out. Remember, it was almost a tie game there for a moment after All Ohio made that run to tie it up. But Tampa's ability to hit the three, Gillespie hit one as well too. That's the reason why you see a 13-point lead for FBC.
The Express ball there along the baseline. They'll get it to Mason. Mason guarded by Butler. Butler not giving much room to work with at all. Now here's O'Neal. Trying to shoot it there from her back there was number 40, Campbell. As Gillespie gets the easy bucket on the other end.
Good.
Go ahead, Hemi.
I was going to say good assist by Tampa. You see her willingness to pass it in transition.
Mid-range jumper. No good there for Mason. The last touch by Kushkitawa and stay with Express.
That's what I'm talking about with Tampa too. You see the assist in transition, the possession before she gets the assist out of the set play. She's a shooting guard with point guard skills. I think that's going to translate well for years to come for young Tampa.
Mason, quick shot. It's off. Ball still loose. Butler has. She'll pull up. No good. Rebound there by Emma Kane. Tough shot right there by Mason.
Yeah, Mason was obviously affected by the length of Kushkitawa. Cassie came over just at the last second and forced that errant shot.
You know, we always love our team PSB dialogue or discussions when it comes to the mid-range jumper and the use of it. In a game like this, it's perfect. If you can be able to beat one of these FBC defenders off the dribble or get a step on them, you don't want to over-penetrate and just pad Kushkitawa's stats as far as blocks or, you know, making a high degree of. You stop and pull up, it could be a game changer here for Express.
I could not agree more with you. Back long ago in the dark ages when I used to play a little basketball myself and being a little undersized, that's how I made my living. Get right into that pocket, beat the first defender, and pull up before the center came in and packed your lunch.
That one's going to be Butler in pursuit. Fouls Mason. Mason wanted the deuce to go initially, but she'll have to get the two from the line. 13:21 left to play here in this second half. Deficit now 15 points. If you're Express, you want to make sure if you can cut it down to single digits, that would be ideal, but the larger that lead grows, the more you're going to have to work to try to even things out, and that's not a game that favors Express when you look at the speed and just the depth of this FBC team.
Speed and depth are two very good adjectives. As you see Butler miss that layup, and then she goes to the floor. These young ladies for FBC, you got to take your hat off to them because they just bring it every single time. And a large bit of that credit has to go to Coach Motton. He's been with them for, like I said, now. And Coach Tampa and Coach Cummings both over there as assistants helping the cause. But when these young ladies are clicking on all cylinders, like I said at the very beginning of the broadcast, that's why they're one of the best in the nation.
And Cummings, just a strong guard. You saw her. Nobody had called out that pick that she ran into, and it was like no big deal.
Now, she's small, but she's not weak, not by any stretch of the imagination.
That's going to send Mason to the free throw line.
Really been impressed here today. Been the primary play creator for All Ohio. We mentioned Sam Rogers to the bench here today because of the head injury. Mason's really had to take on the responsibility of creating these plays, and she's done an admirable job of being able to do that. They're going to need some points from some other places here if they hope to cut into this lead here in the second half.
We're going to have a timeout. Here, we'll take a timeout with them. Appreciate you joining us here on Prospects Nation TV, powered by the SUV, as we take a look at, talked about Nichelle Tampa, some of the difference makers those threes have been up to this point. We see that one from earlier in the game. We'll be back after this short break. Back out of the timeout, 32-20, 12-point advantage for FBC Mo. Cummings has it, guarded by O'Neal. Gets a step on O'Neal, drops it off to Kush Kidawal, who finishes with the contact. Another Cummings and Kush Kidawal connection. We talked earlier in the game about how, you know, when your post players run the floor, like you see Kush Kidawal do it, you want to be able to reward that effort and that consistency. But it also helps as a guard when you know you're going to dish that off to someone who's going to finish.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Butler can't get that one to go down, but you're right. We've all played with that player that, you know, they have brick hands and brick touch. So some late with giving the pass. But Kush Kidawal definitely doesn't fit into that category because she'll finish at a high rate and she'll give good effort each time.
Gets the advantage there on the inside, loses the pass, so she'll have to kick it back out. Gillespie will go to the line and shoot two on these.
Gillespie, as many of these players are in this game, has a set. We've talked about her being, you know, primarily a defender, an energy kid, one of those players that are chase down the ball from behind. Offensively, we've seen her game continue to grow. We mentioned the ability to hit the three-point jumper. You see her knock down a pair of free throws there. And she's only getting more confident, attacking the rim off of the. Now, one day she is going to make a very solid college basketball player, but not before she helps FBC and Norcross High School win many more championships.
Another bucket there for Clay. Makes it 22-36, and you know, looking at Gillespie, it's just another example of the wealth of resources FBC has. Hard enough to stay in front of Cummings and Tampa, and then what they can do on top of dropping it off to Kushkitawa when they get to the third level. But then you got, a player like Gillespie. We haven't seen Gillespie do a lot of damage on the wings simply because they've had success in other areas, so where they really haven't needed to go to her, but she can create instant offense quickly.
Without question, and she's not a player, and that's a good point, Marcus. She's not a player that just absolutely needs a lot of touches in order to be effective. She's not going to be a kid that if she goes 5 possessions in a row and she hasn't got a shot, she starts to get antsy. She's going to find ways to get her hands on the basketball, whether it be for rebounding, defense, and otherwise, to keep herself occupied.
Cummings with the dish. Shot won't go there. 15-point game. Play to Mason. Mason has it blocked against the glass by Kushkitawa. Cummings ahead. She's got Gillespie running the floor as well. Bean gets back and commits the foul. Gillespie a little slow to get up. Kind of favoring the right shoulder a little bit. But she is up and at the line. So she'll shoot 2 on this one. 10 minutes, 12 seconds left to play in the game. 15-point advantage for FBC. Now Tampa checks back in. And Cummings will get a breather. Gillespie gets a break as well. We approach the 10-minute mark. Kane trying to get it inside to Justice. Justice brings it down. And Lindsay Wilby nearly makes her pay for that. Tough situation for Justice right there. She had it high at first, was looking to do something with it, because Kushkitawa in that length really making that a tough feat. And she tries to dribble it to get things going, and that's what these FBC guards are waiting on if you're an inside player, for you to put that ball on the floor.
Yeah, that's a big no-no down there, especially with all those quick hands. And I believe that was Alyssa Clay with another jumper.
She makes it a 14-point game with 9 minutes, 35 seconds and counting left to play. Not an insurmountable lead or deficit that the Xpress are trying to overcome, as FBC Mo gets a timeout. We talked a lot about the FBC guards, but also Kushkitawa. As we take a look at this Prospects Nation TV instant replay, you see Cummings again getting to the third level, dropping it off to Kushkitawa and knowing that the play will be finished. Makes a big difference. That 1-2 punch of Cummings to Kushkitawa has produced easily double-digit points here today. So we're out of the timeout, 24-38. Three from the corner. Tampa stroking it from the outside.
That's her third 3 of the game, really showing her ability to splash those long-range jumpers.
And obviously you have to do whatever suits your personnel best, but I think for Xpress, it would be great if they could have a 3 ball or 2 go in their favor. congested on the inside. Not easy to get good looks on goal going at Kushkitawa. And also not the easiest to be able to break these guards down off the dribble for FBC. They can have players like O'Neal and Mason kind of shake things up and kick it out to a shooter that can knock down a couple threes. That would help.
Well, in order to get clean looks at the three-point arc, as you see that jumper off the mark from the corner, you got to get good ball movement, and you got to get the ball inside out, whether it's from the high post or the low post. And quite honestly, FBC has just done a pretty good job at denying the passing lanes and making life just generally tough for all Ohio to be able to move the ball.
Yeah. And it's almost to where if you get the ball inside to a Justice, and right place, right time, there is Butler as she gets the hard shot off the glass and puts it in. But if you have a Justice or a Varnell inside or a Varner inside for Xpress, all you want them to do is get that ball inside, kick it back out, and facilitate that. They're going to score that much in the one-on-one setting in the post against Kushkitawa. You just want to put it down there to probe the defense a little bit and spur some of that ball movement that you mentioned might create some open looks.
Very true, very true. And FBC has seen that firsthand as well too. You know, running their offense, getting the ball inside out. Tampa has been, you know, really the beneficiary of those type of offensive principles for FBC. With Sam Rogers out of the game, we've mentioned it before, Rogers would have been one of those kids that could have shaken the defense up a little bit. She would have been able to get into the lane, kick it out to the open shooters, you know, make the FBC defense collapse, maybe even, you know, force some double teams and such, and just being a man down against such a talented organization, you know, from here in the Atlanta area, makes it really tough to come in here and knock off such a talented team.
As they are up by here, just under the 8-minute mark left to play. Butler gets it in the corner. Baseline drive off the mark. Justice with the rebound, gets it to O'Neal. O'Neal hesitates, then explodes. She'll be fouled there on that attempt. So that'll be 2 free throws for O'Neal. Out of Wyoming High School there in Wyoming, Ohio. Joined back on the mic by Brandon Clay. As O'Neal knocks down the first free throw.
Nice shot there. Good looking shot, man.
I'm sure if you're Coach Peak, whatever shot you can get there at that free throw line really helps as you try to cut into this gap, make it a manageable deficit as we approach the 7-minute mark.
They just want to compete right now. You know, if you can get that thing to single digits with 5 minutes left to go, you've done something. You've given yourself a chance to be able to compete and try to get this win.
It's a 14-point advantage now, 7:20 left to play on the clock.
Well, you got to do what you did in the first half, you know, which is find a way to get a couple easy buckets. They got to. O'Neal hit a little runner. They got some things working offensively. There's Clay on the cut, and they can't get it to him. But they've got to find a way to get a couple easy ones like that.
That one's going to be scored there by Bean. She makes it a 12-point game in doing so.
Well, and those are the types of shots they've got to get, Marcus, if they want to find a way to cut it. And they got to get stops on this end. They're going to need FBC to miss a couple of shots. You know, like that's a great example. That's a good shot from Butler. It just doesn't go. So they're going to need a little help on some shots that normally go that just don't fall.
Varner able to finish there. It is now a 10-point game. Trying to get a little bit of momentum established. Gillespie has it. Now Butler will have it up top for FBC. And this is where, Brandon, it'll be interesting to see how a Butler or a Cummings or, you know, these guards for FBC, how they respond to this surge here by Xpress.
Well, in this season, you know, in terms of playing in state championship games and here on championship day, PeachStateBasketball.com event, so definitely not a situation where they are unaccustomed to being in this spot. But once again, you know, producing every night as we're watching in the NBA playoffs is essential. You know, you can't have a game off per se, and so that'll be the biggest thing to watch for here.
And you don't want an instance to where you've been up for so long in the game that you really think it's in the bag, because it's very hard to escalate and ratchet it back up to where you need to once that gap is closed.
No question. This is a big possession right here. You got a little momentum. You're eyeing that 5-minute mark, a chance to get it back into single digits. This becomes a huge possession for all Ohio.
Varner keeps it down, and Cummings takes it away. Gets it ahead, and it'll be finished there. Brooke Moore.
Well, and that's exactly what we talk about being seasoned. Seasoning up where, you know, Motton doesn't feel like he has to use a timeout. So ready to go, ready to make a play, and they're able to do it. They're able to get the stop they need to keep that 2 possessions away from double digits.
Varner has it now. O'Neal is able to somehow sneak behind the defense and get the deuce.
Well, you look at between O'Neal and then Clay, they're doing a great job of making reads inside of this motion offense and getting those back cuts. Now it's just a matter of finding them and being able to get them the ball in a position to do something with it.
So I believe is going to go against Bean. Collision there on that play as Xpress nearly came up with another steal.
As a sidebar to this, it's always interesting to me when the referee calls the foul to see the people yell at him as if he should have called it earlier. There's going to be a tape delay of some sort. I guess he doesn't see it coming, and if he does see it coming, then you're wrong. And here we go. You know, in terms of wanting to make sure we keep this thing right, got a technical foul on FBC. That's a big blow as all Ohio was able to get it right there to double digits. So now they're going to be able to shoot and get the possession of the basketball.
And we'll see how that affects the swing of the pendulum. FBC still in control of this one, but got a chance to make what's been a double-digit deficit a single-digit one.
No, I take that back. They actually, a quick call there, just a double foul, man, so no shots awarded there. Ball remains FBC's.
Cummings has it now, crosses over, trying to get it to Tampa.
Timeout there by Motton, the controller. He didn't like what he was getting from Cummings there inside of that set.
What made you think he didn't like it, man?
Body language.
Might have tipped him off just a little bit there.
You know what's interesting? He's not an extremely demanding. You see him the majority of the game. He'll be standing by one of the 2 PeachStateBasketball.com floor signs, just kind of hanging out. But when he's not happy, he's not happy, and you're going to see pretty quickly that he's not happy. And this is him not being happy.
He gets the timeout. It's a 10-point game. You look at all Ohio Express. They've weathered the storm and done enough to be in striking distance still, but now it's definitely do or die time with 4:48 left and still a double-digit deficit. Tampa to inbound it for FBC. It's at the Cummings. Handoff back to Tampa.
That's a good matchup, Tampa and Mason individually. Good defense on Mason's end to keep her in front of her right there.
Coach Pitterwall working for it on the inside.
Oh, great pass. And that's a pass to let you know they play together all year. She refused the initial post feed, didn't like the angle she had. Nice dribble, was able to get downhill, get a little momentum, and create a different angle to make the feed, which is exactly what she did.
A little bit of that St. Francis Championship connection at work there. Now Tampa gets it over to Moore. Moore guarded by Clay. Contested shot, it's off the mark, but they've got an insurance policy there on the inside that pays dividends.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. AC, as they call her, is going to play for Jan Azar over there at the Wesleyan School here. Still 2 years out, amazingly, from being a freshman, giving you some this game. But, you know, Carter is the next one right now projected in a lineage of great players that have come through the Wesleyan School, most notably Anne-Marie Armstrong, who's still playing basketball professionally overseas.
Hey, man, Anne-Marie Armstrong helped me win 6 straight games at an LA Fitness a couple weeks ago, man.
I believe that
She still got it, bro.
Hey, it's not going anywhere, man. That height skill package, there aren't many like it that have come through the state in recent memory.
You talk about Wesleyan. I remember our Tuesday night showcase game. Wesleyan Holy Innocents last season. Coach Azar's team hit by the injury bug a good portion of the season, and they were able to click at the right time.
And my dad says all that matters is the last game, man.
They went on to be state champions here in the state of Georgia. 30-47 ball game. 12 points is the difference. 3:23 and counting left to play. Clay trying to get the three-pointer.
Great shot. Good pass there by Mason, too. The presence of mind to get into the teeth of the defense, make the kick there to Clay, waiting with her feet set. That's a big shot as they get it back into single digits.
Got to take a look at the Prospects Nation TV instant replay there.
You're going to see the action there. Bam! You see her knock that thing down once again. Credit to Mason for the great penetrating pitch to set it up. Clay pulls the other side of the pillow.
That'll make it a 38-47 game. We'll take a short break and be right back here at PSB Mayday Championship Sunday. (38-47) is the game tally right now. 3 minutes, 17 seconds is the amount of time remaining on the clock. As all Ohio trying to fight a battle of attrition to get back into this one. O'Neal will be called for the foul there. Tampa set to inbound it. Cummings over to Tampa. That shot going to be blocked out of bounds. So we'll stay with FBC. 3:01 left on the clock. Moore just gets it in time. We'll have another foul there. That's the 19th foul there for Xpress. So the next one will be a penalty situation. That ball's deflected off and hits the back of the backboard. So Xpress trying not to give up any inches. They know they can't afford it.
Definitely a stop or two away right here, and then you got to be able to convert on the other end. We talked about, you just got to hope that FBC misses some shots they normally convert, because this is a good team like they are. They didn't miss that one.
So strong. Cummings, he muscles that one up. Mason can't get the jumper to go. Ball's loose. Brooke Moore comes away with it.
Oh, right to O'Neal. Oh.
Bang, bang play there. Cummings called for the block.
That's a break there for all Ohio Express. It looked like in the open floor there that O'Neal was going to get hit with the charge, but the block instead.
Justice checks back into the game for all Ohio Express. So does Butler for FBC.
Oh, nice. Nice little situation there. That looked like it came from CoachHemmy.com.
Poetic Justice with the jump shot there. She makes it 40-49.
Pass that from Butler.
And Kushkitawa doesn't get it the first time. She's going to go to the free throw line.
And that's the tough part. If she misses that, you've got to be able to corral that rebound if you want an opportunity to be able to take it to the other end, score the bucket that you need to cut this thing.
Not only does Kushkitawa run the floor well, but she's a player that you can trust to finish in traffic and through contact, which makes a great difference.
Well, you know what's interesting? A lot of times you see, you know, post players with that type of size early, and they don't develop in terms of the willingness to constantly play and play through things, and that hadn't been the case. Cassie's only gotten better in that regard. She's always consistent with her activity, her effort, and her willingness to be in the mix and make things happen.
Just a 9-point advantage, 1 minute, 50 seconds and counting left to play. O'Neal needs to get it out of that corner. She does. Play to Bean.
Oh, nice read there from Bean. O'Neal's open.
Shot won't go. Tampa races in for the rebound. Goes behind the back. Loses O'Neal in the process. Now she'll kick it to the corner.
That's a confident shot there from the youngster Carter. Up 9, 1:20 left. As they say in the park on Sunday, that's a backbreaker if she could have hit that.
I'm interested in just running it out, trying to go for the jugular here. We approach the final minute. And that should make it a 1-and-1 scenario here with the 10th team foul.
It will. We just got the call from our scorekeeper. Actually, have our coordinator, Jack Weathers, sitting on the clock for this one. That's how big this one is. Had to call out of the bullpen. That and the 3-man crew, Marcus. Want to make sure we take care of these big games on Championship Day.
Okay, Championship Sunday at a PSB event like no other, and it's been a great one. Prior to this matchup, Cincinnati Angels victorious. They're in their bracket championship. You talk about textbook defense and just a solid game in a game that featured 2 great programs.
Well, then, you know your championship day is good when over on court 5 you had Team Elite Pointer, EYBL versus FBC Harmon. I mean, Dominique again, Kayla Pointer, Autumn Newby, some of the people that we're accustomed to seeing here in the city being on championship day got knocked away here during this event.
Does it look like there will be free throws here? 48 seconds left to play. The Ariel Varner. Varner misses the free throw. So with 48 seconds left to play in this one.
Good shot. Well, and it's interesting. There's a lot of the young ladies that you'll see at the Elite Basketball Academy, Super 64, Marcus, June 67th. Be over there at Peachtree Ridge High School. You already know SUVtv, Prospect Nation TV will be in the building. Butler gets called for the charge there.
You just gotta love Butler's moxie, man. It's all, but I mean, just to make that strong old move, go through the defender. Official calls a foul, but she just kind of looks down like,
really?
Yeah, I mean,
Me?
Are you serious? Are you?
The best thing is she makes the same face after she hits a big 3.
Yeah.
Really? Y'all gonna leave me open?
Yeah. Not really wanting to sugarcoat anything.
No.
Is Butler.
No. Once again, without question, one of the reasons why she's my favorite player, one of my favorite players, I should say, on the entire summer circuit, you know, is for that reason. She just is going to come out and she's going to give you 100% every single time out. Everything that she has, you're going to get.
It's 37.9 seconds left to play, and if you're all Ohio, obviously you love to pull off something dramatic here in these closing seconds, but even if they lose this game, can definitely be proud in what they did to make sure they stayed in a position to come back and get it. And that wasn't easy against an FBC team that just brought waves and waves of pressure throughout the entire game.
Without question. When you look at the way that they've competed here, and just, you know, at the end of the day, it's a couple of possessions, couple of buckets offensively, and we talked about Rogers. Good move there by Bonner. We talked about Rogers early in the game and missing her, and I think that, you know, you're a couple possessions away, you know, having her in the fold and what that does and what it would have been. But great effort. Mason, Varner, Clay, O'Neal, Bean. I mean, everybody justice, poetic justice.
Yeah.
You know, just the amount of effort, skill, you know, and I think on the FBC side too, you know, Tampa and Butler with the threes early. and Cassie with the catches and the finishes and all the things they brought to the table. It's been a great game.
Carter knocks down that free throw. So I know there were a good amount of EBA Super 64 bids earned here over the past couple days.
Hey, it's not even a question. Make sure you check out @Prospects Nation, the Twitter handle, @Coach Hemi. Multiple handles that were passing out bids, passing out invites. Want to make sure one of the things we like to do with EBA is obviously there's an exclusivity to it, but we do want it to be open to kids like these that are going to play in college. You know, whether it's Emory, whether it's Cincinnati, whether it's Notre Dame or anybody in between. We want to make sure that all these young ladies have the opportunity to come train with our staff, come play on Prospects Nation TV, and have the opportunity to continue to work, grow on their game, even in the down times like this weekend or again June 6th and 7th.
As Brandon mentioned, be sure to stick with us for select camp game coverage, player interviews as well. Championship Sunday is great, but it's nothing like those EBA camp settings as well, where you see the skills and drills, you see the matchups. It's just always a setting where players are getting better.
Well, and you take it back, the Elite Basketball Academy originating in workouts with, Maya Moore and Alex Montgomery, both who are in the WNBA now. Kelsey Moan was a part of those beginning days. And so now to see all these young ladies having an opportunity to come through and have the same impact that those young ladies have had on the game is awesome.
Most definitely, as Cummings goes to the free throw line. 8.5 seconds left in this one, so coming to a close. Xpress continuing to fight.
Great pass.
Varner gets a bucket. And it's a 4-point game. That'll do it. But when you just look at the momentum that FBC, no pun intended, had there to come and lose a 4, by 4. Didn't want a moral victory, but
no question on you. Once again, the opportunity to compete. At the end of the day, win, lose, or draw, in front of Kyle Moore, in front of Jonathan Hemingway on Prospects Nation TV, powered by the SUV. It doesn't get any better than that. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I'm going to hang out with mine.
And that will do it. Any gym is home. We appreciate you joining us here. Marcus Burnett, he's Brandon Clay, and we'll see you at EBA Super 64.